Steve likes Huel. Hence why Steve is wearing a Huel t-shirt. Welcome back to the TCF Sport Podcast. We are the casual fans. My name is Ben. That is Steve, who likes Huel. Yeah, how you doing? You good?
I just like the t-shirt.
So for context, obviously, for those that have seen the last podcast, we were starting by taking the mick out of Gary Neville and the Stick to Football podcast for how he does the sponsors.
And he was devastated by it. No comments whatsoever. You can tell in his head.
Although it was interesting because the last Stick to Football podcast, they changed the way they do adverts. So he's having a conversation with somebody about Huel.
Oh, so he's plagiarised this, is he?
See?
Always thinking.
Yeah. But when I walked through the door, when I got home today and I saw you wearing that, I thought, yeah, it's just brilliant. It sent me. So, I had to continue the theme to try and get a little bit of humour because it was very funny when I got home. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
I have my moment. That was the one for this year. Roll on 2026.
Back yourself. I'm still waiting for when the seagull follows the trawler that sent me.
You can't keep. You got to be. I don't know. You can't keep regurgitating the old stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But
unless it fits.
It's those
other than twice.
Yeah. It's those moments like when we were laughing about the Arsenal. Because I've now pinned that post on TikTok because it's the clip that's done so well, the best clip that's done.
Laughing about the Arsenal.
So during the World Cup when Arsenal were top after it's got nearly 50,000 views on TikTok, but it's all Arsenal fans obviously laughing at it because of
Well, the one for me that always stands out for you is, where's the podcast going?
I know, exactly.
That's the one that just pops up automatically.
Yeah. Well, that was one that was just off the cuff. But
funny enough, talking about that, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was thinking about what you were talking about the table results. Yeah. And it's like, here's how Ben viewed this week's results. Bird's eye view.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. I'll tell you what, when we come to the end of the season, you play ends. If I have one, we can make that joke then. Maybe I'll get like an umpire's chair and just sit in the middle.
Yeah, when we play horse, the first one, we smack the umpire out of the chair.
I'm up for that. I don't mind.
I'm not sure goals will be, but
content is content. Yeah, but I mean, as you can tell from the shirts, it's going to be a very
and your jumper
and my jumper. It's going to be a very Arsenal focused episode, this one, because of what happened yesterday. So we might as well crack straight on into it. And what we're talking about specifically here is the Myles Lewis-Skelly red card, but the wider issue of referees' decisions is going to come into it. What I want to say first, before we obviously have a conversation about it, is I do understand that other fans of other clubs get frustrated with Arsenal fans for what they see as constant moaning. I do get it because sometimes as an Arsenal fan myself this season, we've blamed the referees for a lot. Sometimes justly, in my opinion, sometimes not. I get why other fans get frustrated, and the wider point is, yes, we've needed to be better on the pitch because we haven't picked up enough points, and that is a lot of our own doing. However, yesterday, it was universal agreement that was never a red card. So for Michael Oliver to give it, and for VAR to not send him to the screen to get him to overturn it, is why I have an issue, and why we both have an issue. So
I don't have an issue. I thought it was a good decision. That's the best decision since Michael Oliver gave Knockout a penalty.
There you go. Two funny moments.
Something new.
Should have updated the list.
Yeah, best decisions.
Yeah. But it leads me to ask, so straight off the bat, is Michael Oliver corrupt?
I don't know at this point in time. Like, I don't know if it's corrupt or just really poor officiating, but you've probably written it down here, and I was having a conversation with Dad before you got home about this. Like, when you think the City-Arsenal game, Arsenal-City at Arsenal last season now,
October 2023.
Kovacic is already on the yellow and catches Rice on the ankle, which is normally a straight red anyway.
It was the one on Erdegaard that could have been a straight red if you're looking at the one yesterday by the same standards, because Kovacic's studs were higher than Myles Lewis-Skelly's studs were on the Matt Doherty.
And he didn't even give him a second yellow, and Howard Webb came out because he doesn't want to have influence on the game.
But
what he actually said, what he actually couldn't say, was in a text message like, "Come on, Michael, I know they're paying you, but you can't make it that obvious."
No, it's just, what can you say? Because I've written all of the decisions down here, which we'll come to in a moment. But talking of corruption, maybe there's like different levels of it, corruption or bias. Is there an issue if he referees Arsenal games going forwards?
Yeah, and I'm not even saying this because yesterday, there's been plenty of times, obviously off podcasts where we watch football, and it's like, who's reference today? Mark Oliver. It's like, oh, good luck.
So then, going through some of the decisions that he's given against us.
And some of these decisions you'll never see against another team, by the way.
No, starting with Gabriel Martinelli, the 2 yellow cards at Wolves, also away at Molineux, which was in the 2021-22 season, February 2022. He booked him pretty much 2 bookings straight away in the same phase of play, one for trying to stop Wolves taking a throw-in.
Yeah, it was silly, wasn't it? He tried to block the throw-in, and then 10 to 15 seconds later, he pulls the guy back.
Yeah. And have you ever seen, as you said, 2 bookings like that since? No.
But again, that could also be common sense as well, couldn't it? Be like, right, listen, you could easily get 2 yellows. I'm only going to give you the 1.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
Obviously, you've already mentioned the Kovacic should have got a second yellow. Could even have got a straight red for the tackle on Odegaard, but the fact that he didn't get a second yellow.
Got a straight red for the one on Rice.
Yeah, it's madness. And that was against Arsenal in October 2023, so last season. And then this season, he's already had the Trossard second yellow at City in September 2024, which we arguably was the most deserving of the 3.
Yeah, I mean, if he genuinely believes Trossard is booting the ball away after hearing the whistle, then you can understand him giving the second yellow. At the time, I wasn't happy about it as an Arsenal fan. As a neutral, you can see why potentially it's been given.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I think a week after, you also had that angle where there was an Arsenal player on the halfway line and Trossard was trying to get him on the counter, and he's literally booted it as he blew the whistle, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think.
It's a bit second and a half, which is why that's quite a big distance to me. To me, Trossard knew what he was doing, so he got what he deserved.
You always maintain that. You said Trossard knew what he's doing. I wanted to give him the benefit a little bit and say, well, the ball's there, it's there to be hit.
Yeah. But as we said at the time when we were watching it, he was so eager to get his second yellow card out.
Considering he didn't want to affect the game and all that sort of thing the season before or whenever it was.
I wanted to change it then,
but
didn't
even in the same game, it was Doku, wasn't it? Kicked the ball away.
Yeah.
Didn't get booked.
Yeah. No, I know. And then that comes to like the overall stats, which have been going around on social media after yesterday's decision, that he's given a total of 7 red cards against Arsenal in 54 games. So 1 every 8 games or so. Compare that to 0 for City in 50 games and 1 for Liverpool in 56 games. Now, obviously, some of the red cards that he's given against Arsenal would have been just. Yeah. Obviously, just mentioned the Trossard one. There was one, Fabio Vieira last season against Burnley, which was stonewall red at the Emirates. It was deserving and everyone knew that. But when you put the stats into context, and then when you also bring into the fact that he's refereed in the UAE, which was a midweek between Premier League games, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There seems to be a little bit of
an
issue
issue there.
20
grand for that, apparently. So, of course, conflict of interest.
Yeah. So that is in itself, as you said, conflict of interest could raise bias, no?
Yeah. Well, we all know as a Newcastle fan, and the Arsenal lads shouldn't really need anything to get up for Newcastle away. I know they're 2-0 down, but really, they're obviously never going to come across this, but if they were to, do them 3 or 4, and then afterwards go, Michael, it's for you, son.
But that was my feeling yesterday, because you know in yourself, like when something that you think is unfair and unjust that goes against you, and something like core to you, because we're both Arsenal fans and the club means a lot to us. Like, it's not beat around the bush, it's true in that sense. When that happened, I was thinking, right, down to 10 men, you go out and prove everyone wrong. It's that siege mentality, isn't it? Just go out and do them regardless. And I know Wolves went down to 10 men as well, so in that we only scored when we went 1-0 up. But reading BBC Sport,
what do you mean when I went down to 10?
Oh, sorry, we only scored when we went 1-0 up.
I'm a firm believer. If one team scores 1 goal, the other team has to score 2 to win.
We only scored when they went down to 10 men. But from reading the BBC Sport headlines, for the vast majority of the time when it was 10-11, we were still
creating chances. Yeah, we were creating chances.
You want that mentality for the rest of the season. You mentioned Newcastle already, but going to it for the rest of the season almost feels like we're Millwall. Nobody likes us. Genuinely.
Yeah, and Calafiori took his goal well. But even the red card for the Wolves lad, he gave it as a second yellow. Yeah. And it's like, if he wasn't already on a yellow card, would he have sent him off? And that was over the top of the ankle, studs on the ankle.
And people are saying that one was worse than the Myles Lewis-Skelly one.
By far. But the narratives are interesting, because I've listened to...
Mike Dean?
No, well, I've listened to him, but Mark Chapman on Radio 5 Live. And he was saying about a text he had from Shearer, and he's like, I can't repeat the wording, but he basically said it's never a red card. And they were almost apoplectic about it. Like, what the hell was that about?
Yeah.
And yet, Mike Dean, initially it's like, oh yeah, no, it's not red. And then, oh well, I can see why, because in the freeze frame it looks like he's raked his studs down the back of him. Like, so I can understand why Michael Oliver's giving it. Like, he can't see his studs going down the back of his leg.
Yeah.
Like, it's the outside of his boot that he starts with. He's just trying to stop the counter.
Yeah. It's a cynical foul, which is a stonewall booking.
Yeah.
But nothing more.
No.
Nothing more. And there was universal agreement amongst all pundits. Tim Sherwood was doing the game on Sky Sports, and obviously Tim Sherwood is formerly Tottenham, has had critical views of Arsenal, again, rightly or wrongly in the past. He was apoplectic as well. It was never a red card. That says everything. It says everything you need to know.
Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, Danny Murphy were just like, what is that about?
But now it makes me wonder, because previously, when VAR has looked at a decision, which obviously they did not overturn it, when a club has tried to appeal, they haven't been successful. If we are trying to appeal this, are we going to be successful or not?
Well, was there one of Bruno Fernandes? Well, they didn't even have to appeal earlier on in the season.
United against Tottenham, you're correct in that, yes.
And because I think Arteta said, well, hopefully we won't even have to appeal.
Yeah.
But Murphy hit the nail on the head yesterday. It was like, the referees can make mistakes. That's the whole idea. Mm-hmm. But that's what VAR's there for. But for VAR, so whether they've got referees in there who, because everyone we've always heard this narrative about, he's the best ref in England and that sort of thing. And I've never thought that. You know my opinion. I've never thought that. Basically, because he gave Anthony Knockaert a penalty.
I don't think you mentioned that before.
No, I'll have to do a list of decisions worse than that. But whether there's like an internal hierarchy, because think about what Mike Dean said about that. I'm not sure if it was Anthony Taylor or not. About I've got to send my mate to the monitor and tell him he's made a mistake. Well, to quote Roy Keane, that's your job.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
You send them over, like, regardless of what's going on. If you think they've made a mistake, then you send them over. Yeah. But yeah, it was the VAR thing. As bad as that decision was, like with VAR again,
the fact they didn't think it was a clear and obvious error.
Like, and again, you'll never see that one again. You'll never see the clash of heads for a penalty again. You'll never see a double yellow again, and you won't.
No, all three decisions which have gone against us, which is why. Yeah. As much as we've had some positive decisions or lucky decisions in recent weeks, obviously the Trossard corner against Tottenham, that wasn't a corner.
But VAR can't get involved with that one.
I know. But the Havertz penalty, which they could have got. Oh, no, there was no VAR in the FA Cup.
I mean, we said the Havertz penalty was a joke, but he gave it as he saw it, and there was no VAR for that. And had VAR been in play, they'd have told him no. But that's more about the standard of officiating as well, isn't it? Yeah. The corner off Trossard. And again, the Sky narrative, like, honestly, if I was paying for Sky, I'd cancel my subscription. Because when on the Ref Watch, you got I can't remember, Hayley something presenting it.
Yeah, Hayley McQueen.
Yeah. And she's like, should VAR get involved? Because it costs Spurs a goal and this, that, and the other. And it's like, it's only when Arsenal were involved, the decisions like, maybe now VAR should get involved. But the week before, when Aston Villa kicked the ball out against West Ham in the FA Cup, and again, I know VAR wasn't in play for that. No, but they've kicked the ball out and got a corner and scored. No one was making a big fuss about it then, were they?
No.
So, but like you say, the social media reaction, because I've even seen like United fan group going, no wonder Arsenal fans think that refs are against them and
United
it's all corrupt.
Fans, Liverpool fans, Tottenham fans, a lot of them on social media, because that was universal agreement on that one, that it was never a red. And I'm just glad that we went and won the game afterwards.
Previously, mistakes that bad, they wouldn't be officiating this weekend.
Yeah, but
there was one with Simon Hooper, I think, wasn't there? I'm not sure if it was this season or a couple of seasons ago.
I think it's Simon Hooper and also Paul Tierney, maybe. I think he's had one or two.
Yeah, where the decisions have been that bad, they've gone, you're not doing it this week.
Yeah,
you need to be taken out of the limelight.
Then also issued apologies related to that, which also then brings me to.
Was it? It wouldn't have been because he wasn't. It wouldn't have been Spurs Liverpool last
season.
I
don't know, because that was the VAR issue.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure. They said that was an issue with technology. That wasn't necessarily a subjective decision. They just had an issue with technology. They didn't draw the lines.
They didn't even draw the lines. They knew it was onside, but
they might have been told to miss a week because of that.
It was like a miscommunication, wasn't it?
Yeah. With the PGML stuff, I'm going to be very interested to see what happens, how they interpret this. Also with the Ref Watch on tomorrow morning.
Well, with Ref Watch on Monday morning, and when it comes to the VAR with Howard Webb and Michael Owen. As soon as you see Dermot Gallagher, whatever he says, that will be regurgitated by Howard Webb. I guarantee it, because it comes from him anyway. Yeah. It'll be an email down the chain. Oh no, it was dangerous. It was high. It was this. And if you want to really say that and back that, and you can clear off. Like, football fans should then stop going. If it's going to go down this narrative, stop going to the stadiums, stop paying for the subscriptions.
Yeah. It would never
Do them
happen
that way.
like
Of course
that,
it won't, because
but
fear of missing out.
yeah, but you just want them. You don't want an apology. You don't want them to come up with whatever narrative. You just want them to say, "We got this one wrong. Fair enough. Hold your hands
And
up."
start
Because
doing better.
mistakes happen, and of
Yeah.
course that, But then that's why, because obviously previously you said referees are corrupt, and I've never been on that.
Yeah.
Agreed with you necessarily on that. If I were to ask that question again, but also then put it with the referees of the required standard, what's the greater issues there? Do you think they are actually corrupt, or is it just the standard of officiating that's the issue?
The standard is the main issue. Because I know I say they're corrupt, and I do say it tongue in cheek a little bit. The standard is a massive issue, but I wonder if there's an internal hierarchy, if some won't send others to VAR or to the screen because he's regarded as the best ref, so I can't send him over to the screen.
Well, ever since Mike Dean said what he said,
Yeah.
that then raises doubt, and as soon as you have doubt, obviously the stuff with David Coote as well, and what he said about Jurgen Klopp,
Yeah.
figures.
But
back
even
in
being
there
sent to the
somewhere too.
screen though, and we've seen it a couple of times. Oliver's done it once, and there was that other lad who was a bit younger, but I think it was a Southampton game. I can't remember the decision, but you can still be sent over to the screen and go have another look, and still go, no, I'll stick by my decision.
I think there was one in recent weeks, but I know Michael Oliver did it against Forest against Bournemouth a couple of seasons ago. Bournemouth's first season back in the league.
Yeah.
I think he was meant to either overturn a penalty, but he stuck to his decision. And there was also one in lockdown, Tottenham against Brighton, I think. I can't remember the referee's name, but he stuck to his decision.
I think there was one this season at Southampton, and like I say, a younger referee is in I don't know. If
I know
he's
it's
you know
a
what I'm
fairly
talking
new one.
about.
I know what you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
fair play to him, because he's like, no, that's my decision. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He
but yeah, just shocking. But it, like you say, it's not all Arsenal, but we obviously take it harder because being Arsenal fans and seeing a lot of these decisions.
Yeah.
And the lack of consistency again. Declan Rice kicking the ball out of play when it's moving, and some of the other, like in that same game, João Pedro smacks the ball all the way down and doesn't get booked.
But supposedly because the ball was already off the pitch, or whatever the argument was used.
Just anything just to back themselves, isn't it?
Or to back the narrative, as you said, to not admit a mistake. But
Yeah.
if you make mistakes, it's fine. Everyone makes mistakes. They do have referees in the moment making decisions.
Part
in
of being a
split
human
second.
being is making mistakes.
Yeah, but their job is
Just
quite
own
hard.
it.
Exactly. It's all you want to see. That's why I say you don't want to see apologies. You don't want to see sticking to a certain narrative, trying to pull the wool over people's eyes when everyone can see what happened. Just admit and own up to what is a mistake, and that way there's probably more goodwill will be created to go towards them.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. If we got our anger out now, is there anything more you want to say on any of the other decisions so far this season, or on? We've covered them already.
we've covered them on previous podcasts. Like I see, like the Saliba red at Bournemouth, and then the next day Liverpool-Chelsea, something very similar.
Colwell and
then there was another one again only a couple of weeks ago, and you sort of think it's just a consistency
thing. Yeah.
So
yeah,
but yeah, just I suppose it keeps people talking about the Premier League, which is what they want, don't they? So,
which is also what we're doing at the moment. And you did mention the finish by Calafiori. I did also want to say lovely too, because on the half volley.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
Lovely finish.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's the catharsis session on Arsenal over. So there are a couple of other bits from yesterday's action that I wanted to talk about. Another decision, first of all, Brighton against Everton. Did Everton deserve their penalty for the Joel Veltman handball?
I think he knows what he's doing, personally.
You and me both, yeah.
Have you watched Match of the Day?
I have watched Match of the Day and I watched the analysis.
I think, because Gary Lineker was very much, I don't think it's a penalty. And I think Shearer and Murphy are a bit more, no.
Shearer and Murphy both said they thought it was a penalty.
Yeah. I think he makes a deliberate move to knock the ball out of the way.
I didn't think there was enough contact from Beto for a foul, because it didn't really look like he leaned on Veltman that much. And when you're falling naturally, you put your arms down, don't you? You don't punch the ball. So I thought, stone wall for me.
Palm of his hand, he swiped it. But
either way, but you don't make that action, do you?
Yeah. Was it VAR that gave that one?
It was VAR that gave it.
Because the ref didn't see it, I guess. But no, I thought it was a pen, spot on pen.
Yeah.
Was what's his name?
Ursula crying.
Was he annoyed by that? Was he?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, boo-hoo.
He got asked a question by whoever was doing the post-match press conference for the Premier League. It wasn't on BBC, I don't think. And basically, he gave one-word answers of no, wasn't a penalty. Can you see what I saw? that sort of thing. He wasn't.
Oh, you
happy.
mean like the penalty that you shouldn't have been given? Talking about the bad decisions
or
with Arsenal.
the Rice red card earlier in the season that wasn't comparable to the João Pedro second.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Fickle.
Yeah.
If some managers were to come out and just be like, well, actually, if it was the other end, I'd want it given. And there are some managers that do it.
Yeah.
But
it's a rarity though.
Oh, I know. It's rare. It's rare this day and age, but it has happened previously. But yeah, no, like I said, deserves everything he gets. Good luck losing your job, because I'm not being funny. Compared to previous seasons, they've been crap, haven't they?
Well, they were on an unbeaten run before being done by Everton, but there were quite a few draws.
Yeah, but they had quite a few draws under Potter, and Brighton fans weren't happy.
Yeah,
do you remember?
Yeah. So, well, and obviously last season was up and down, but this last season was up and down because I think De Zerbi,
the contract situation
was a bit of friction
players
there,
and all that sort of stuff.
And they were in the Europa League, so they were playing Thursday, Sunday, and they did okay in the Europa League because I think they topped their group, but then they lost to Roma, and obviously Roma are quite a big European club, especially by comparison to Brighton. So it was one of those things.
Yeah,
good win for David Moyes though in what was his 700th game.
Moisey
in charge,
2 wins on the spin.
Yeah, and all they need to do is stay up. So,
well, that takes them to 24 points, doesn't it? So they're safe now.
No, not with Leicester's win today.
Well, Leicester on 17, mate. Leicester just need 2 more and they're safe.
Well, they're now, considering they've lost their last 7 before today, they win a game, they're out of the relegation zone.
I know, insane, isn't it? But that's because Wolves have had 2 losses on. Is it 2 on the spin?
I think
Chelsea
it's more
away.
than that. It's now because Forest was before that.
Oh yeah, Forest, Chelsea, and Arsenal.
It's 4 from the graphic on BBC Sport. I can't remember who the other one was.
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head either.
No, but to be fair, in the games that they have lost recently, the Forest game, I know they lost 2-0 or 3-0, but that was never a 3-0 game. It was 3-0 with the chances that Wolves created. Chelsea on Monday night, they also had chances and should have gone for the jugular when it was 1-1. And yesterday they also had chances against us. One of those things.
They've had tough fixtures, haven't they? So hopefully for them, if you're a Wolves fan, they might be coming out the other side of it.
Just depends what happens with Cunha too.
Because he won a couple of games in a row, didn't he?
Yeah, his first game was at Leicester and they beat him 3-0. I know Leicester had played Danny Ward, but still a good result.
Danny Ward gave him a couple of helping hands, didn't he?
Quite literally, just here you go, lads.
He tries to do a Veltman just in the goal.
Did you also see Njai, the lad who scored the penalty yesterday?
Yeah,
got booked for doing the seagull celebration.
Oh, grow up!
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah,
have they not been watching Jamie Vardy the last 5 years?
So he's supposedly under IFAB's laws that falls under provocative celebration. So because he scored and he didn't do it straight away, but then as he's running around the corner flag, he's going like that.
They just want to kill everything off. Like that was the funniest thing about Vardy, wasn't it? Yeah. Like he's done something at Crystal Palace after scoring against them.
Tottenham first game of the season this year. He's going Premier League patch
1-0.
You 0.
I know.
Brilliant.
And then there was one. I'm not sure if it was at Wolves or when the Wolves are at Leicester, but it's not this season. Like he's this guy who goes, oh
yeah, yes, of course. You need that though, innit?
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. Like yeah, they're killing it, aren't they? Doing that, just killing it. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're going to start booking players for that, like, just grow up. You're taking all the fun out of it.
No, I know.
But again, it's because a load of adults are there going, oh, what? You wouldn't say, oh, you're mocking me because you're doing a seagull celebration. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it yourself.
Because when we've been in, you were there at League Cup game, Arsenal against Tottenham, when we lost 2-0 Unai Emery, and obviously Son scored first half when we were North Bank, and he's gone like that.
I know.
And some of the things that we've heard around us, I thought it was pretty funny. Don't get me wrong, I was devastated that we conceded, but at the same time, he's entitled to give it because he just scored.
Kieran Trippier was laughing at the fans as well, wasn't he? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, well, there were drinks going, people were running down, giving it. Oh, I'll give you. I was like,
what is it you say? Grow up.
Like, oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Because I
remember when I had my first beer.
Yeah, tell me about it. Right, let's come to Chelsea as well, because as I've captioned this section, where are you going, Robert?
Where's the goalkeeper going? Sorry, just take that.
I love it. Where do they need to strengthen? In goal, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's ever really been a top 6 goalkeeper, has he? Like, or big 6. I know Chelsea. We've had the conversation where I said, well, if you don't finish in the top 6, then you're not a top 6 club.
Yeah.
And that goes for Arsenal when they're outside the top 6 or big 6, whatever you want to call them. Because this season, Man United and Spurs aren't going to be a big 6 club.
No.
There's obviously a difference in about heritage and all that sort of thing, but
and size of club.
But Sanchez has never been that good in terms of that, because he still made the odd mistake down at Brighton. But yeah, I don't know. Who will they get in? They got Kepa's still on loan, isn't he? But I still don't think he's that great.
Good. No. Even the goal that they conceded, I know that was a brilliant result against Newcastle the other week, but Bruno Guimaraes' header from the corner, to me, Kepa should have saved it. Earlier on in the season, when Bournemouth lost at Brentford, they lost 3-2. I think Kepa got beaten at his near post. That was his first game back in goal after Travers had started a few games because of a Kepa injury.
And Travers looked stronger.
Bournemouth fans' comments going, why is Kepa come straight back in? Travers deserved another run because he hadn't made any mistakes. So it's definitely a position that they need to go for, even though all the money that is spent. I imagine they will do something in the summer, because Maresca, as much as he's come out and publicly backed Sanchez, he's also said that he does need to improve, because it's now mistakes in back-to-back games. He dropped the ball at home against Wolves for their equaliser, and the one yesterday, I don't know what he was doing and where he was going. It's fine if you initially want to come out, but why did he stay there? Why didn't he then retreat a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. He obviously thinks he can get the ball. Has misjudged it.
Yeah.
It was the Chelsea players' faces, wasn't it? It was Enzo Fernandez. Right.
Yeah. It reminds me of Maitland-Niles' pre-season friendly in Barcelona. Have you ever seen that, when he tries to play the ball back to Leno?
And Leno's moved.
And Maitland-Niles just turns around and is like, why is this guy coming off his line, bro?
Is that what he says? Is it?
You can see it clearly with a...
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's one of those. Have you also seen that Chelsea supposedly want Garnacho from United?
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
No.
Because you got Sancho on loan.
You've got Sancho on loan. Obviously, I don't know what's happened with Mudrik's case, but you still got Mudrik.
Drug doping, in it, Mudrik?
Yeah, so he's obviously not able to play at the moment until that gets resolved. But you've got Madueke, you've got Pedro Neto, who can play both sides. You can also play João Felix out there. Obviously, Cole Palmer can play out there. They already have quite a lot of wingers.
I mean, Felix and Palmer, they like to play in behind, don't they? Is that what they call the number 10 role, isn't it, these days?
But if they start out wide, then they also drift into that position. But to me, they do have more than enough wingers. Unless
he's going to send Sancho back because it's costing him too much money and Garnacho's the cheaper option, I don't know.
For £60-odd million is what it's been rumoured by.
Wages. Oh, it's an outright buy, is it? Not a loan?
No, it's a buy, because United need money, which we'll come to in a second, because of their close to reaching PSR rules.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it personally. 60 million seems a bit steep as well.
Yeah.
Because he's an okay player, but again, blows a bit hot and cold.
He's very raw, but for United, for me, that would be a good sale, because as much as he's come through the academy system, and obviously it's not nice to lose one of your academy players, if you're sticking with Ruben Amorim for the foreseeable future, he doesn't really fit Amorim's system, which is what a lot of United fans have said.
Well, 60 million profit then. But then you've got to stick by the manager and not sack him halfway into next season.
No, which is also an issue in itself. Because then what do you?
Depends how they're doing in the Championship, really, doesn't it?
Instant promotion. Yeah.
Clickbait!
Well, I already know what the thumbnail title is going to be for this. It's just going to be corruption in capital letters with these up as well. So,
I mean, to be fair, it's a shame you don't have the blue version of that, because that was the most corrupt game in our history.
Well, that's when we have this conversation. We're going to come back to it. We might as well. We're talking about Arsenal referees. So the corruption argument that you used previously, I've never been on the same wavelength of that. I just thought referees' mistakes. If I'm going to go with corruption for anything, it's that game, because the decisions that got made in that, mental.
The Ferguson era, and Martin O'Neill's hit on the head, because I've watched it.
Yeah.
Some of the referees were scared of him.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. And we've seen in that documentary, Paul Scholes win at all costs.
Yeah.
Win regardless of anything.
Have you also seen there was something going around on social media, it does the rounds occasionally, when United conceded a penalty against Middlesbrough. I think it was their first penalty they
Andy
conceded.
Durst, the referee, and they surround him.
Everyone was going after him. everyone. And I
Yeah.
think it was the first penalty
You
they
don't give
conceded.
penalties at Old Trafford.
No, the first penalty they conceded in about 3 years or so.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
I know.
It's definitely something that's a bit shady.
Yeah,
there going on
oh
there.
yeah.
Definitely
Corruption.
something.
That game was definitely corrupt though.
Or even the commentators, I've said it before, but listening to it back, without even seeing the replay of the Rooney one, it was a definite penalty. Didn't even wait to see that there was absolutely no contact at all.
Yep. And then one of the nastiest ones in that was Van Nistelrooy and Cole.
Ashley Cole, yeah.
Scraping his studs down from almost his knee down to his ankle.
That's not a football game anymore, is it?
But right in front of the line,
I know. And nothing. I don't think he even got booked, did he?
No.
Yeah. Mental.
So, yeah.
Because for Arsenal, I wasn't old enough to remember that game, but if Arsenal fans watching that...
Oh, I'm so young.
I am. Arsenal fans watching that must have been fuming. And obviously it still rankles to this day because of the amount of times we talk about it on the podcast.
Well, every time I see it come up on social media, I'm just like, yeah, how has he not seen that? How's he not? But yeah, whatever. Like, is what it is. People will know. People see it. It's like a friend of mine, his dad was talking about when Brian Clough was at Derby, and I think they lost to Juventus, and he was saying like that was corrupt. Like the refereeing and that, and he said years. I mean, I don't know how much true it is, but it's like years later it came out that they'd been bribed or something. Like, and but
obviously there was a similar thing as well. I think Marseille got done for corruption. Going off my football history and knowledge.
Let's be honest, it happens, isn't it? Like, look at what happened in the Italian league with so many of the clubs.
Juventus most recently, in the mid to late 2000s, wasn't it?
So it does happen, and we for some reason. We like to think that we're holier than thou, don't we, over here? And it doesn't happen to us because we do things properly and all that sort of thing. Please.
We invented the game.
Yeah.
We invented the game.
We're not corrupt. Yeah. Well, that nonsense.
Talking of United, though, so we briefly mentioned their PSR breach on the last episode, but since then they have come out and written a letter to fans, the fan groups, to say that they are at risk of a PSR breach and ticket prices could rise as a result. This comes after already raising them mid-season and not taking away the concessions that they did for children and for over 65s and disabled people as well. On top of the already laying off a lot of staff and reducing the value of staff's Christmas gift. To me, it feels like they're doing everything but trying to fix the wage problem. Now, in recent days, they have also let Anthony go on loan to Real Betis, who are going to cover 84% of his wages, which is quite a lot.
What's he on, 200 grand a week?
I'm not sure how much truth there is to that because BB said it was at least 100. So that graphic, I think that you sent to me might have been exaggerated a little bit.
They're paying anything between 80 to 160 grand a week, aren't they?
But it's still a lot of money. But that's where the issue lies. I don't understand why they're doing everything that they're doing and not trying to fix the significant wage issue they have at their club. I don't understand is it because of the PSR issue? They're so close to PSR rules that they cannot terminate contracts. Because for us, speaking as an Arsenal fan, that's what we had to do with a lot of our players. That was the only way we got rid of Deadwood, as we've said many times on this podcast. If you want to cut the wage issue, just terminate contracts.
But were we terminating with only a season left, though? Because if you're terminating with a couple of seasons, you have to pay him off or pay him out.
It depends if you can come to an agreement with the player. Because Willian, for example, I think he said, no, terminate, I don't want any money because there was just the agreement he wanted to
being
come to.
Being decent as well. But if you've got 3-4 years left on a really cushy contract... You're going to say, no, you're going to pay me.
Or maybe a bit like Phil Jones. I don't know all the ins and outs there, but because he was on a significant...
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Philip, you're on TV!
Yeah, the one that I remember as well is Paul Scholes calling Robbie Savage. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mess, isn't it? But the fans, all you got to do, I said it earlier on this one, don't go then. Don't pay the money, don't go.
Yeah. Because, they've already been critical of the mid-season price raise, as rightfully so. They're going to be critical if ticket prices go up again, because that's what the board and the owners have warned of. But they are still going to turn up. Yeah. And when you said it previously under the end of Arsene Wenger's reign, if you turn up, nothing changes.
Yeah.
When you vote with your feet, that's when things start to change. But the hypocrisy of the United situation, or it feels like they're focusing on the wrong things. They're doing all this with staff. Obviously, they cut Sir Alex Ferguson's contract as well, didn't they? And have reduced the wages of club ambassadors like Brian Robson and Andy Cole too. But doing that is like a drip in the pond, especially when they're going out and looking at buying a left back from the Italian league for 30 million euros at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the deal that they want to do this window. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I know. They're just in a massive mess, aren't they? They hand out long and high-priced contracts to players who they thought were really good,
Which
and
they were.
aren't good enough.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Casemiro, world class. 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know. But then what they're hoping as well is, well, we'll get a load of money for him through shirt sales.
Yeah, because I remember the comment that we made when they signed him at the start of that season. It was 2022-23, wasn't it? Ten Hag's first season. They'd lost their first 2 games, the second one away at Brentford. United fans were up in arms about the Glazers. And then as soon as Casemiro was spotted walking, it was, oh, shiny new thing.
Yeah.
Which is what we said on the podcast at the time.
And it smacked to me of, do you remember the season of Arsenal where it was like, spend some effing money?
Yeah.
And I hadn't done, again, much business in the transfer window, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But again, oh, look, here we go. Well, now we've signed someone, and now we've signed this, and we've signed him from Real Madrid. And because was Varane the same season, or was he?
I think
before?
Varane was the season before.
Okay,
I believe.
And again, he was still a decent centre half, but he was always injured, and it never really worked out for him, did it? But I've said it before on this podcast. You deal with the devil, and you reap what you sow. So, and long may it continue. I really don't care about their downfall. Many a weekend they ruined of mine. And they were corrupt, so...
It's just surprising with the new owners, the way it's come in. Obviously, they
I'll never be welcome in Manchester again.
That's right, not enough people watch this yet. Getting there slowly.
Get your cagoules. We're going hunting.
That's all you need. No, that's all you need. Just that's it. Wear a cagoule and you're sorted. Zipped all the way up to the top. Double, double, double. That's what it is. I need a button where I play the music, innit?
You're twisting my melon, man.